Recording in progress. What's up, Restoration Rebels? This is Andy McCabe. We got Joe Spears. We got Zach Davidson, pardon me. And this is the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for the 4th of October, 2023. Let's get right into the agreements. Here we go. Agreement number 1, I'll protect the value of my services. Offering free services only serves to erode the value of similar services industry-wide. Agreement number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. I will explain the claims process to my client. I will not hide pricing details or falsify reports. I will never communicate with an adjuster without also communicating with my client. Agreement number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration companies in my market are part of my community. I'll be an active member of my community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change that we strive for. Agreement number 4, I'm willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that is not compatible with my values or stated mission. No relationship is worth losing money, sleep, or my humanity. Speaking of community, I had, hold on a second. Yep. Sorry, there we go. I had somebody reach out, a lady reach out to me, a rebel reach out to me, who was having some trouble. She was in a bad way as far as employment. She was catching some grief, and she had somebody making her life hell. And we found her a new home. What was that? Just yesterday? So 24 hours after I made that post in the group, we found her a new home. She's got a signing bonus. She's got moving allowance. Someone's going to get her, snatching her off the street, and now she is gainfully employed. So that's
the Rebel Network.
It's the power of the network. And I was stunned with the immediacy and the urgency. People saw her resume and they're like, where is she? Where does she want to be? How do I get a hold of her? It was like boom, 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 boom. So good on us. That's just thumbs up to the Rebel Nation. It was amazing. I got to take that post down before people keep messaging me about it, though.
That is a super attaboy for the community. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
We did good. Let me see if I can't get. I guess real-time comments will just keep coming up. Okay, there we go. All right. I got a proposal. Mr. Lou, what's up, man? Good to see you.
How are you guys?
Good. Hanging in. I got to find what I was looking for. Oh, it was over here. It was right here. Downloads. How would you guys, blow this up a little bit. How would you guys like on every mitigation job on day 2, before the crew goes back out on day 2, you get a report like this. And this report says, hey, your scope's not quite right. Your moisture map looks good. Your sketch looks good, but you're missing some photos. And by our best guess, this is a $12,000 job. You're going to be there for 3 days. This is what I've been working on for the last little bit. And this is coming out of QuickCheck. And our whole intent is to move the estimator invoicer from the end of the process to the beginning of the process. Because once we get the information at the end and you say, go ahead and write us our invoice, it's too late to change anything. It's too late to do anything about any mistakes that might have happened along the way. So what we're doing is inserting ourselves at the beginning of the process, liaising and interacting with the technicians and your dispatch crews, and making sure that the data is good, making sure the project is on track from day 1, and most importantly, making sure you're picking up the dollars that are sitting on the ground. So you can make adjustments midstream to remedy things that may or may not go wrong. Yeah, things never go wrong in restoration. Everything is perfect and every client is wonderful. So what are your thoughts on a report like that? Is there value in something like that?
I mean,
Absolutely.
there's value in it, but it's got to come with a consulting aspect to it too. You can't just say, "Hey, you're missing this," and then they're going to say, "Well, what exactly am I missing?"
Yeah, yeah. This is page 1 of probably what's going to end up being about a 6-page report. That'll go into detail, those types of
Okay,
details.
I like it.
Good. Well, and it's not an easy thing. this is one of our so QuickCheck is my new company that I think Joe and Zach are already aware. So we're taking where I started with claims delegates is with just Xactimate estimating, and we're taking it way further. We're taking a full stack approach, holistic approach to what it means and what it takes to actually put together meaningful, defensible estimates and invoices. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
I mean, the
But
form is
otherwise-
nice. I mean, the form is nice and all and everything. Like I said, I mean, I will say I mean, like I said, I'd like to see, I'd have to see more of like, what exactly it's looking out for to trigger those warning kind of mentality. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think it is because I think it's one of those things where I think all of us can agree on that when it does come to whether or not you're an in-house estimator or you're a remote estimator, there's certain things that like it's almost not just a matter of writing an estimate and having the information provided for you, but like there's a lot of things that like we as estimators know we can bill for or that needs done that contractors overall just seem to not even realize they can charge for or they should charge for.
Yeah, and those things may or may not show up on a scope sheet.
Or they're
Yeah.
too scared to try, Joe. How many times have you and I had that conversation? They're too scared to put it in the invoice. Put it in the
Good point.
invoice. Let
Good
them
point.
tell you they can't charge for it.
I mean, my kind of example for that's always been containment. Like I've never once had an insurance. Well, I've had one time, but outside of that, one time, and it was Travelers, shocking. But I've never had an insurance company lose their mind ever and give you crap about containment to the point that I've seen people where you come in the front door and it's a 20-foot foyer and the staircase goes up and they're going straight down the hall to the basement door and going down the basement. The guys they built a chamber with PVC pipe and boxed it off, made a tunnel going through so they could carry all the sewage waste out without cross-contamination.
Nice.
They spent like 6 hours constructing this, boxing it up, making sure it fit all. Insurance was like, cool, sounds fine. Most people would be like, there's no way we can do that. They're not going to pay for that. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that, or even so much like taking the baseboard out that's been, set where the tile's set higher than the baseboard. So you got to dig it out or glued on drywall. The amount of times I've seen people, only reason I know is because I'm used to seeing the squiggles down the stud work, but most people don't realize, oh, that's an add-on charge for removing glued on drywall, which I would think I would personally would think probably is that I would think glued on would be cheaper, but it's more expensive. I don't get that.
Wait, glued on is more expensive? Of course it is.
But why? There's no nails to pull out. Like you pull it off and it comes off the wall. I don't
Maybe.
I've never really had an issue with it sticking to the wall.
That's a maybe. And have you put it on, Joe?
Well, no, I mean on the mitigation side, like
on the mitigation, the takeoff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
because
it's not easy.
One
as
piece
easy
is
as I
going
think it is.
One piece is going to come off really nice. The other piece is going to come off in chunks about this big.
Yep. Make it real dirty, make it real nasty. And to your point, Joe, that's where a lot of restorers.
And Jordan says, the paper, you get all of it, but the paper, and the paper stays on the stud.
Yeah.
And try scraping that paper. It's real fun.
Yeesh.
Oh, well, I agree. I mean, but
containment's huge for being able to just biggest fight with insurance. If you're going to do a containment, if you're going to do anything, temp repairs, anything, protect the asset.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you use those words, you are protecting the rest of the asset that's unaffected. Insurance 9 out of 10 times goes, yeah, you know what? I've seen too many of these things go south from Joe Schmo down the road who didn't do this, and then it went into the family room, the living room, and then we had work and all. Like, yeah, they're gonna let you. They're gonna pay for some containment.
Yeah, I mean, just like pool tables and granite. Like, I don't let any of my people ever remove granite countertops. Call a third party in. If that thing cracks, your hands are clean. A professional said it couldn't be done. Insurance has no problem paying that upcharge on it, as opposed to just having us do it. I mean, there's little things like, and I mean, that's why like your little QuickCheck thing, like, it's a great idea, because not only is it going to help make sure that they're doing the job, if it's on day 2, they still have time to get it fixed before the dry out's completed, but it's also going to help people learn that, oh, I missed X, Y, and Z items.
Yep. So if any of y'all are watching this and are curious to learn more about QuickCheck, this is a shameless plug. I invite you to reach out to me. Let's get on the horn and let me and us show you what it means to have human-powered estimating behind your process, and get your estimators involved earlier, and get our estimators involved earlier rather than later, so we can help you guide the ship and avoid bad things from happening. So there you go. Okay, I'm done advertising. Let the flaming begin in the group.
Hey, it's Sunday.
It's Sunday. It's Wednesday is the same as Sunday.
Right. No,
Yeah.
but what I would say to that too is, I mean, a huge part of why restorers lose money is scope creep, right?
Oh,
If QuickCheck can catch that before you're so-called either done with the dry out, or you get these questions of, hey, why is this material not drying? Or hey, why did this, affected area not dry out to the way I needed it to the dry standard? Well, you're probably missing something, and you probably could have caught that.
Yeah, and there's just so much that the average restorer, especially the new guys. I mean, the new guys don't know any better. They don't have the experience. But if you don't have your chamber sized correctly, if you don't go far enough in your demolition, you're gonna things are gonna run long, and you're gonna piss people off, the homeowner and the adjuster at the same time. So yeah, just look more professional. That's one of my biggest frustrations over the last 2012. So 11 years I've been running claims delegates. One of my frustrations is I have all this experience, but I can't write a good sheet because they didn't give me enough on the front end, and it's too late to go back. And so now I get to share my experience and share my wisdom and everything else throughout the process and help these guys get up to speed.
I got a topic here because we're kind of talking about the scope change and stuff.
Hit it.
I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on it.
Okay.
Do you feel that it is, regardless if you're doing simple form or if you're doing the longhand form of calculating out your chamber drying error and all that stuff there, if you say, let's just say it came out to, the need is only for a large DU, right? Or one extra large and one large DU, for example. And you set 2 XL DUs. Do you guys feel you should charge for what you needed, or do you feel you charge for what you set? My mentality is it's like a rental car. If I rent a sedan and they are all out of sedan, if they give me a free upgrade to a truck or whatever, they're not charging me for that upgraded cost. If all I have is XLs, but I actually only needed to have a large, I should only be charging for a large, because that's what the job needed. It's not anyone's fault that I only have XLs available. But I've also heard people say, no, I charge for XLs because that's what we set. But there's no, in my opinion, there's no real, it's a rental rate. Like, it's just, does that make sense of a question?
Yeah,
I
get it. I'll let you guys answer it before I jump down your throat. Okay.
It makes sense in the way that you word it, Joe, but here's my issue. Restorers pay too much for their equipment. And you know what? If I'm going to pull an XL and that's all maybe I have, and maybe I didn't need that, but that's what I had to use, I'm billing for the XL, bud. Like, I get your conversation about the free upgrade, but all we're doing is helping insurance at that point being able to cut the bill, are we not?
Well, but if you're oversizing your job and all, wouldn't that oversized equipment theoretically help you dry it out a little quicker. And yet I still see people sometimes where they have too big of equipment, but they're still having 5 or 6 day dry outs, where, does that make sense? Like, it's kind of like that.
That does, but that's a situational thing. Like if you're taking too long to dry out with an XL, then I got questions about how your containment was built, how it was secured, and everything else. There's a lot of other questions that
I
go
feel
into
like
that.
majority of the restoration companies, they only buy XL DHUs. I don't know anybody that has a regular DHU anymore. Very rarely do I even see people with large DHUs. They only buy XLs. And based on, I've looked over numerous marketplaces across the board at default pricing. If on a standard 4-day dry out, if you average 4 days on your dry out, it's going to take 7 jobs for you to pay off in full the investment you have on that one DHU before it starts making you money. And then the only thing you have is your overhead on maintenance and shit. So, I mean, it's not really, cost wise, it's not really like it's making you lose money by downgrading it. Does that, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does, but how often do we hear that adjusters don't want to pay for cleaning the equipment and all this other stuff? And you do have to do that. Now, we both know there's a lot of restoration companies that don't necessarily do that after one job to the next. I've watched it happen in person. But at the same time, I mean, that does take time, and time is money. So
yeah, Sean, Mr. Ivory is hitting the point that I was going to make. The drying calculations are the minimum. So you do the calculations no matter how you do them. They set the minimum recommended pints per day of moisture removal. And if you're doing AHAM or CFM, it sets the minimum CFMs.
Okay, so I'll give you this example. It's a bathroom, wax ring failure. It's a small bathroom, and it's a 7x8 bathroom. You only need, 13 or 14, I don't know, whatever the calculation. You only need a few there and stuff.
13 pints per day. Yeah.
Yeah, all you own are XL DHUs. Should you still charge the XL because you set the XL DHU, or should you charge it based on what that room would have needed? Because
I don't know. You put an XL in there, it's going to dry in 2 days.
Maybe.
You put a large in there, it's gonna take longer. I think I am not a huge fan of letting the tail wag the dog. And I'm the professional in the field. And if that is truly the only gear I have, I'm going to use that gear and I'm going to charge for that gear. And I think it's going to take less time to dry if you oversize your drying chamber. Over drying and blowing out trim notwithstanding. At the end of the day, I think it's a stupid argument to have. And if you're having that argument, I would 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to give up and say, all right, fine. I'll charge you for a lesser DHU, but it doesn't mean I'm going to continue charging for a lesser DHU on every other job. No, I'm going to charge for what I did. I'm going to charge for what I used.
I feel like I don't see enough people buying multiple different sizes of like dehumidifiers to be able to have that option. Everybody wants to go out and get either the Phoenix, XLs, the R200s or whatever, or they get those new little briefcase ones and they just buy a shit ton of those and that's their stockpile. And, they don't, hey, all we have is XLs, that's what we're setting all the time. And they don't realize, hey, they're, and I get it. Like I said, you're probably going to dry quicker. You should be at least. I'm a big fan of doubling up on DHUs on day 1 to drop that bulk moisture down and then pulling the second DHU on day 2 and continue the dry out there. But it's one of those things there where like I've seen a lot of jobs where it's still a 3 or 4 day dry out because you can get 3 to 4 days and no one's really going to give you too much crap about it. But
that's a different story altogether.
Man, that's a whole different ball game you're talking about there, bro, because I'm with Andy where I'm tracking that, hey, if I'm using an XL and maybe it should take me 2, maybe at most 3 days to dry that room out, the space you described, Joe, then guess what? What I'm doing is I'm excelling the equipment, which means, yes, I'm charging for the XL. And 2, I'm making my insured extremely happy, my customer, because I'm out of their hair.
Out of their hair.
I'm out of their hair a lot faster.
Which
means I'm probably going to get paid quicker because they're going to love you. And if Mr. Adjuster wants to bulk it, not paying me for an XL, they'll probably just throw, because let's be honest, over a 2 to 3 day, the homeowner's just going to fork that out 9 times out of 10 if
Yeah.
something were to go south.
What is the difference? We were talking about $40 a day, $20 a day.
That's what
are
I'm
we talking
saying.
about?
Like we 120
like-
bucks, homeowner. They're gonna pull that out of their pocket and pay you immediately because they're happy you're out of there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is that it's going to spur a conversation between us, the mitigation contractor, and that claims department. And I would
Mhm.
rather, if I'm somebody who for 30 plus years, from the initial release of it, if I'm going to use industry standard to support and defend what I do, then I'm also going to use those atmospheric conditions within the cubic footage of whatever my drying chamber is. Like Joe said, if it's calling for a large dehu, and if all I have is an extra large, I'm going to put the extra large on. There's no doubt. I'm going to charge for the large. I'm also going to include, I'm an F9 junkie. I'm going to include in my F9 the fact that we used a larger dehumidifier, but please note that atmospheric conditions within the drying chamber calls for X amount of pint removal. So that's what we're charging for. We make it known. I mean, I want to make sure that same thing. If I'm going to comp, I hate that word, but if I'm going to comp some fans, whatever, I'll always show it. And then either show the discount or show the calculation. But
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer because I'm so dependent on industry standards and guidelines, then I think it's fair enough at our company for us to bill what atmospheric conditions dictate.
And
But-
Lou just gave us the best answer of somebody who's out there doing it real time, because that is a true business owner that's looking after not only the insured, but also making sure this thing goes smoothly and everything's explained in real time and via communication. Because I love F9 notes too.
Because
Shout
cash
out to
flow,
you, Lou. That's a good way.
cash flow is king. And if you're giving up something in exchange for cash flow, that's a business decision.
Mhm.
But I'm with you, Lou. I'm going to show it.
I have no problem saying we use an XL, but we only required a large dehumidifier, so that's all I'm going to charge you for. You know, and I mean, I'll use that to my advantage. I'll be like, oh, you want to start paying my estimate part? Then I'm going to bill you for what I actually had then instead. If you really want to nickel and dime my ass, because I've tried to be fair at the get go, and you want to still try to pick me apart, so let's go. But I mean,
Well,
you
that's
know-
where when this cubic foot drying comes out, that's gonna just all these arguments are gonna be a moot point.
I don't know if I'll use cubic foot drying personally.
Dude, I'll do it. I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be the early
Okay,
adopter.
here's-
I'll do it on
here's
every
another-
single
here's
one.
Another question. Here's a good one for you guys, since we like talking about this stuff here.
Do
I
it.
think everybody in this group here can validate, and everybody that's in the chat will be able to validate. If you actually sit down and you actually like take your Xactimate estimate, or if you do the actual calculations for what the standard says you need air movers on every job, it's a minimum. You could probably find a minimum of at least 2 or more air movers that should have been set that weren't. Now, now how many? Now
At
let's just say you set 20 air movers, and your guys thought that was good and all, but the calculation actually came out to say you needed 32.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair in your mind to say, well, if you had set 32 air movers, you would have been drying a 3 to 4 day job instead of it taking 8 days? So do you feel it's still fair to charge for all 8 days when you guys didn't actually confirm how much air movement you needed? Is that the question?
I've never been a fan of Monday morning quarterbacking how a structure was dried, especially after it is dry.
Right.
If the number one thing that when your question pings in my mind is you didn't have enough airflow, meaning if you didn't have enough airflow, you're probably over dehumidifying as well. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
tough one, because it's a real question, Andy, because how often do restorers run into that on an emergency call? You get a call at, Saturday morning at 3 a.m. Somebody floods the bathroom and maybe you've already got 2 other dry outs going on and you've only got so much equipment. I mean, that is a real life example of what do you do? You know, you're triaging the situation. And to your point, Joe, you know, you got to do your best. I mean,
Well,
if
and
you
I
only
mean,
got 20 available,
well, I mean, I've had people where they're like, we only had 10 available this, you know, and it took 5 days, you know, we drive for 5 days in this wing of the house, and then we moved it over here and it drives for another 5 days. I'm like, so you have a total of 5 days and 5 days. That's still 5 days combined, you know. So on your DHU, let's just charge for 5 days instead of 10 days because you had to do half and half drying. But I've also had a few jobs where like it was like a 9-day dry out and they only had 20 air movers. And my calculation for air movement, for proper air movement in that house would have been 35.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we
It would
wouldn't
have
have
dried
enough.
quicker.
And I was like, they're like, well, we didn't have any, there wasn't enough power. And I was like, well, you could have had a power box, you could have had a generator. And if you'd set the right amount of equipment, you would have probably dried it in 3, 4, 5 days. It would have saved the homeowner 3 days of drying. What's fair there? Is it fair to say, hey, you know, because we didn't choose to do extra power and equipment there and stuff? I mean,
Yeah, I think the rebel answer is going to be solve the goddamn problem. You're the professional. Jordan is sitting here. He says, set the equipment you have and go rent some more. Solve the goddamn problem.
well, the
That's
problem with that,
exactly it.
I'll say, is Jordan, is that 9 times out of 10, like when I get involved and I do the calculation, that job's well done, you know, 3-4 days, a week later, where they finally gave me the file. And I'm like, y'all undersized the hell out of equipment. And you know, here's the
See?
thing.
See,
here's the-
now you're doing my job for me. You're advertising for QuickCheck because
about
that's
to say-
exactly what we'll
Joe,
sell
that's
for.
literally what we do, bud.
And guys, and here's what I want everybody to understand. If you average 4 jobs a week and they're each 4 days long, and you can set 2 extra air movers per job. So that's 4 days, 4 there, and 2 air movers per day. And each air mover on average is about $28, $29. We're going to say $28. That's $14,000 for your guys to make 1 extra trip into a job site. You know, hang
That's annual.
on. 4 jobs a week times 4 days times 52 weeks times 28. There we go. That's $23,000. Sorry.
23 grand.
That's
Yep.
$23,000 for
That's
bringing
real
in
revenue.
2 extra 1 extra trip in with 2 air movers. Like, and you know, it doesn't take any extra effort, but you know, also, hey, maybe now you do need that spider box. Maybe you do need to run it to the power panel and hook it up or get a generator. I'm surprised at how many people are terrified of going out and renting from Sunbelt like a generator, you know, to run the equipment at the house. I'm like I'll bring one out every time if I can. If I can't hardwire it into the power panel or something.
I have rented millions of dollars in generators in my career. I mean, it's just is what it is. Restore Right has a good point. The equipment does not provide the value as your skills do. You can have $1,000 pair of scissors to cut hair, but it doesn't mean you will charge a bunch, especially if your skill level is not there. So yeah,
Amen.
it's about the skill. It's about the professionalism and what you're bringing to the job here in your head, not the equipment you're placing.
Well, and it's all about too your moisture map, where you know it's most saturated. Are you changing up your drying plan halfway through? Are you moving things to get things more dry that are more
As
saturated?
you
There's a lot that
should.
goes into it.
Yeah,
All
no
right,
drying,
into it.
no
That's
drying
a
plan
great
should
one for you.
survive into day 2.
That's a great one for you. As things dry in a room, if I have I have 1 bedroom and I have a good chamber of air going on, and 3 of the walls are dried out, but 1 wall still says wet on day 3. Do I pull the air movers all except for that direct drying and all because everything else is dry? Or do I keep that perfect drying system going and keep all the equipment going for that 1 wall that needs an extra day of drying?
No, you adjust, you resize, you adjust and resize every single day.
That's
I know a lot of people that just the equipment's set there. It's got a
there's
perfect.
so
I know
many
a lot of
people.
people like that
Oh,
too, Joe,
yeah.
but that's the problem. You have to, and that's literally to what Andy was just saying about that comment. We are the professionals. If you are going to go into this field and call yourself a professional, act like it and
Yes,
know that you've
please.
got to deal with the situation.
Hey, those people those guys out there
I'm gonna mute real quick.
those folks out there that are doing that is the whole reason why we have to support and defend as often as we do. Wasn't like that years ago. It's because of folks like that.
Oh, I'll give you guys something else here this week that I discovered that I really, it's you're gonna hate me when I say this because you're gonna be like, Joe, you're going on the wrong side here when I say this. But something that's really checked my ass that I realized in Xactimate this week.
Uh-oh.
So every single line item.
Oh, wait. Is your new employer going to pay for your exact certification so you can teach?
There's a good chance of that.
All right. I'll think
There's
good
a very
thoughts.
good chance
Sorry,
of
I
that.
interrupted you. Go ahead.
Fine. So I was looking through component listing on everything. And here's the thing is every WTR line item and every HMR line item has trash bags included in it when they say includes bagging. But those bags are for a 30 count box of 6 mil plastic trash bags. I can only think of one or maybe two companies that I've ever firsthand experienced that actually invest in 6 mil trash bags. Everyone always buys those 3 to 4 mil contractor, tough guy trash bags you can get at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff.
Wait, the yellow box. Those are 3? Those are 3 mil.
Yes.
All right. I am. Yeah, I've got pretty hands because I work behind a computer all day. I don't know these things.
So, it's one of those things that I've noticed on the system is like, people always want to say, the pricing ain't there the right way, blah, 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 blah. But then like when I was looking through it, I'm like, well, you guys are just using regular trash bags and you're charging for these high grade 6 mil trash bags. And it's almost $1.50 a difference per trash bag count in Xactimate between 3 mils and 6 mils.
$1.50? Get out of here.
Let's see.
Joe, I'm gonna debunk that whole thing right now and just say, when was the last time you went to the store and bought trash bags, sir?
A single trash
Because
bag.
in this economy, I'm buying whatever I can afford as an owner, and I'm using my bag.
But here we go. A WTR bag. I'm in a price list for the month of September. Still, and this is for Florida that I'm in right now. WTR bag is $3.75 a bag. And on a 30 count, that's $112.50 for a box of bags. Whereas the DMO bag, which is a plastic contractor bag, is 97 cents, and they come in a 50 count. So a 50 count is $48.50 for the bags. That's how much of a difference in trash bag cost is in the program. And I get people all the time, they're like, oh, well, we're just not making enough. And I'm like, this is what, like, I'm glad I'm not on the TPA adjuster side, because I'd be like, you guys aren't using the right bags. Like, make it all no bagging and then add in your DMO bag. And
you would have them by the balls if they documented it. But I mean, let's be honest, Spears here is remote estimators. How often do we receive pictures of them bagging up said demoed items?
Hey, I tell them all the time, you have to double bag when you walk out of a contaminated area and you're past. If you don't have direct egress, you have to pass through an uncontaminated zone. Double bag it. Take a photo of a trash bag within a trash bag so you can charge for it, or else it's not a valid charge. Covers your ass.
I do the same thing, but I never get those photos.
If you are complaining that you're not making enough money, it ain't the goddamn bags.
But
This is true.
I was really, really shocked. Like I was looking through everything and I was like, Jesus Christ, like it's $60, $70 extra per box of bags on these estimates.
Well, that's going straight to the bottom line. No doubt. I like it. Zach said something, a Betix Clear 6 mil mandatory for anti-theft. Zach, could you expand on that in the comments? I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah.
Anti-theft. What's that mean?
The standard of care does say you should be using 6 mil puncture resistant trash bags because you have contaminated materials. So, and everybody just goes out and gets these 3 to 4 mil bags that rip easy and stuff at times. And
that's where you should be double bagging. To your nice point, Joe.
Even at 6 mil, you're supposed to double bagging. Even with a 6 mil, you should still be double bagging it. But
regardless, I can't believe we're hung up on freaking trash bags right now.
That was just an example.
If that's where the industry has got its problems, we got real big problems.
Well, there's to your point, Joe. I was pseudo grilled by an IA this week on a local project that I estimated, and it was like we're doing this project. It was mostly flooring, but there was like $600 in pulling outlet and switch covers off and on. And she's like, what is this $600 charge? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't even write it. So I'm looking at it, and it was $6.25 each to remove and reset the same cover. So I was like, yeah, we'll take that out. We'll take,
That's
because
more than the damn cover cost to buy a brand new. Insole.
exactly.
No
We're not gonna,
shit. And-
we're not
And
gonna
half the painting includes that anyway on the rebuild.
we're not gonna DNR it.
talking
We're
about?
gonna replace it for 50
Isn't that-
cents.
Isn't that to replace it with new?
Yeah,
No. No.
there is no detach and reset line item on outlet covers.
Yes, there is.
So ju-
No,
so
there's
there
not.
is.
No,
Oh.
there's not. There's
Oh,
detach
don't
and
we-
reset
damn it.
outlet. There's detach and reset outlet, which includes the cover, but
Hold
the outlet
on.
cover
I'm gonna
alone
pull it
does
up
not
now.
have a detach reset.
I'm pulling it
Yeah,
up. I'm pulling it up.
I think Joe's right. I don't think there's a
Yeah, I
detach
think-
reset under the cover.
You
I
guys
think
keep
It's
talking.
either
I'm
you
gonna find
remove it and then you replace it on the outset, but that's where you get, and that's where a lot of restorers, man, it kills me. Like when I write an estimate, and people are
ELEOS.
like, "Where's this line item?" And I'm like, "It's included in the description in this line item. Like, why am I going to double bill?"
OSCOV
Hold
outlet
on.
switch
I'm
cover
almost
has
there.
As
Gosh.
replace, remove, replace material, and install only. There is no removal or detach reset.
Hold on.
The most you can do is ELE as a remove, OSCOV, which would give you on this one here 80 cents to remove it, and then install only, which is $3, so you get $3.84. Like even at remove and replace on this price list, it's $4.78, so $6. Get the fuck out of here.
But that's supplying with new material, isn't it? A new cover?
Gotta
That's
be.
only remove and install only, which means that you're just installing something that's already on site.
Oh, you're right. It is
That's not
remove and
bad.
replace. Remove and replace. Well,
At that
Keep in
point,
mind-
don't you do maybe a 0.5 quantity?
You would do 0.5 on detach reset if you're only doing one side or the other, but
can you do a detach and reset? No.
like I said, you'd have to do it remove and install only to cover the detach and reset functionality.
Well,
one
my
for-
price list has
you do-
$7.30.
God, we're talking about pennies here. We go from trash bags to outlet covers. What are
Okay,
we doing?
Yes, we-
okay, Zach,
I know.
I'll give you a
Blame
good one.
Joe.
You're
Blame
paying
Joe.
on. Air scrubber filters. Do you charge a full count on each job? Do you charge a partial count?
Yes. Yes.
I
You're not
can't buy it. I can't buy a partial of a filter.
Just like I can't.
Yeah, I mean,
can't
if I'm
drive half
using a
truck
filter on
either.
a job, I'm using a
A
filter
HEPA
on a
filter?
job.
Like an air scrubber HEPA filter that has like a 900 or 9,000 hour lifespan on it, you're charging a full count on it on every job.
Cross contamination.
So you're replacing it also on every job?
You should.
You better be.
And if you're charging for it, you better.
The amount of contractors I have seen that'll charge.
Oh my
full
God, Joe.
counts-
Joe, if we get into that crap, bro, all you're doing is speculating on the amount of contractors we have. Like, to lose point.
I
These
worked
are
at
the
a
assholes who
hang on.
shouldn't be rebels. These are
I
the
was-
assholes
I
that
Yes.
worked
shouldn't
at
be
a
rebels.
Belfour. I worked at a Belfour, changed out all their HEPA filters, got fired, moved to Los Angeles for 3 years, came back, worked at a company for 2 years here in Indianapolis, and then went back to Belfour, and they still had the same filters because I had put my name and date on them from
That is
5 years
disgusting.
ago.
That's
Yeah.
That
wrong.
is disgusting.
Wow.
That is disgusting.
That ain't right.
That is
ain't
gross.
Right.
You know, I could see using those HEPA filters in the capacity of a negative air filtration device, but in the during demo, what have you. But
Okay.
but when we're using it in the capacity of an air scrubber, that's a different story.
Now I will say, yeah, like I've always ran this set of air scrubbers are for mold related projects.
Sure.
And these are for my, negative air that I need because I mean, even if you're sending negative air, you don't necessarily have to have a HEPA filter in there to make it turn into negative air. But
Right.
if I'm using it as a negative air, yeah, the filter might not, I have a pre-filter on it. There's no mold concerns. I probably can keep it and just seal it up, take it out and everything, I'm good. But on mold jobs, yeah, I think if you're doing a mold job for sure, yeah, you need to change it out. But I mean, on a water drop.
I
cat
think you
1 or
got to
2.
do it on any of them though, Joe. I mean, I'd be changing filters. I mean, I always use the old adage, like, if that was the filter that you're breathing through in a mask, are
Mhm.
you wanting to change that out at the end of the day? Because
I mean, my
pretty
HEPA
sure you are.
now my HEPA pancake filters, I change out every job. My P100 vapor organic filters, I put in a Ziploc bag, and I use those on average for about 3 days worth of use before I need to change those because they're good.
And that's fair because they're also held up by an industry standard that there's, there's science behind it, Joe. Follow the science, Joe. Follow the science. But there is a science behind that aspect of it that, yeah, if you actually treat it like that, sure. But let's be honest. That's why I always tell people you got to change the filters, man, because you don't know what one house has. They could
Oh,
have cats and dogs, and you're sucking up all kinds of crap. Like, come on. And
I
nobody's
agree with you.
examining those damn things after they're done. Like,
And
you got it.
I agree with you 100%. But this is the things that, like, as rebels, like, we need to be making sure people understand, because I have seen way too many. I'm not gonna say rebels, but I've seen way too many mitigation companies who they probably change it out maybe once a year, and they
But that's
just
the same thing to Lou's point. Like, this is who we've got to root out. We've got to root out the people that are doing a disservice to the industry. For people like Lou are heading in the field and getting hit by stray bullets because some other dickhead down the road didn't dry something out in the amount of time and then overcharged and everything else. It's a joke. It's quite honestly a joke. And if you're inexperienced and you don't know, everybody on this Zoom right now, feel free to message us. We're all rebels. Like, I'll offer free advice anytime. Joe Spears, I know the hell you will. Good God, man, you got too much damn time on your freaking hands. I see you all over every board, on every freaking chat,
Not
every
for long.
group I'm in. Not gonna lie, but good God, man.
But
like,
I mean, I can tell
it's
horse. I had a client. Well, not a client. I had a opposing restoration company that I came in afterwards to check on because the homeowner didn't feel the work was done right. They charged the 2 things they did that pissed me off. One, they charged for extraction and carpet removal in the basement with no extractor. And they said, well, when we pulled the carpet and pad out, we took the water that was in the carpet pad with us. So we extracted the water.
that's
Oh,
dirty.
son of a
That's
bitch.
dirty, dude. That's
And,
dirty.
and the homeowner had bought a LGR dehumidifier because they had read online, like, when they had done their basement drywall, that it would help the drywall dry faster by sending a dehumidifier. And the homeowner said, well, since this one's already down the basement, you guys can use this one here, so you don't have to bring another one down. And the company charged the homeowner for their own dehumidifier because they said, well, if they hadn't had it, we would have had to bring our own in. So
Oh
therefore,
my
charge
God.
for it.
No, see,
those-
that's where shit goes off the rails. Shit's off the rails.
Yeah, those
Nope.
people need to
If
be
you're
punched in the
charging
mouth.
your own insured, your own client for stuff they're providing, one, bad on you for not being prepared.
That's terrible.
Two, you're a fucking crook.
If you're going to
Goddamn
charge,
crook.
if your client's going to do some content manipulation and you're going to put it on if I'm going to put it on my invoice, then I'm going to credit that back to my insured.
And their argument, because I had a fight with them on it, was that they said, well, if they hadn't done it, we would have. And that's part of what our job scope would have been under, and why
You
we
don't
took the
get
job
paid
on.
for what you would have done.
Right.
I would have zeroed it out and filled it in with an F9 note that said the insured took care of it, because then guess what? With the carrier, you're already building good faith because you're saying, hey, these people, hey, they thought out, they could move it all. They're able-bodied. What the I can't with shit like that, Joe. Come on now.
I mean,
I can't with crap like
I wish
that.
I could. I could tell you stories like that all day long, guys. Like,
I don't want to hear stories like that. I want to move on to other crap. We've been on freaking trash bags and outlet covers. Let's get off the freaking train of whatever craziness Joe's got in his mind. Let's move on.
Hey, let's get out there and recruit the rest of the 1%ers like the rest of us.
Oh, man. Oh.
Good God. I can't with that crap.
And you guys wonder why the TPAs try to put their hands on everyone's file. All
Dude,
the time.
that's exactly why. Because there's
Exactly why.
idiots out there doing this crap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna charge my insured for shit I borrowed from them. Are you
No,
freaking
I've seen
kidding me?
people this year.
I'm going to charge
alone-
for things I might have done.
I've seen people this year alone who sent photos over to me, and like the dry out consisted of box fans like you have at like grandma's house, and the dehumidifiers like from the 80s that people have in their basements, saying that that's what they use for the dry out. And they're trying to charge LGRs and air movers for it. And I'm like, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in the day, there was only one price for fans, if you will. It didn't matter whether it was just a little turbo, dry ease turbo, or whether it was a 1 horsepower Sahara HP. You know, and my analogy was I'm using a Sahara HP, which is generating the airflow out of, you know, of the equivalent of 2 or 3 of these smaller units. So if $25 a day is what we're normally charging for a small regular fan, doesn't make sense that if I charge you $35 a day for this fan over here, there's still there's still value. And you know, years ago, the analogy was, well, okay, well, if that's the case, we'll go get one of these little, what are they, the little hand fans
The
that
1 horsers
in Asia, where your little
pinwheels?
personal fans. Right, there you go. You
The
know,
beefier fans.
you know, now fast forward however many years, now we have, you know, prices for a centrifugal fan, axial fans. There's, you know, there's different breakdowns, but so I laugh when I hear you say somebody put a box fan out there, because as far as I'm concerned, well, gosh darn it, these insurance companies, they brought it on themselves and they deserve it. I shouldn't say. Come on.
Hey, I will never knock anybody that uses an axial fan. Don't get me wrong, but if it's that square Walmart $20 box fan, but that's where I'm just like, really?
And you're getting $25 a day for a $20 purchase? Bring it. I love it.
Now let's talk real shop.
Uh-huh.
My happy ass is gonna find myself in West Texas real fast.
Do you have a picture of that gutter handy?
I just sent it to Spears.
I think you should show everybody. This gutter looks like somebody with a size 9 stepped through it, but it wasn't a size 9 shoe. It was a hail bullet, a hail cannon.
Hang on, here we go.
When do you guys show it? When do you guys show it?
Well, let me back up though there, because I did get clarification from the guy who walked it with me yesterday. Now I was, you know, remote obviously, but I gave him a company cam account so he could photo document it. Those ended up not being hail shots through the gutters. Those were downspouts ripped at such a force that it pulled a hole in there. But that same property
still
has 9 holes where the contractor could stick his fingers all the way
through
down
the shingle,
the attic.
through the shingle,
through the shingle
sheeting.
and through the decking.
Wow.
So my question is, when I go there and get to walk it with, you know, whichever fine Sedgwick representative they stick on me to walk this with, my biggest thing is I'm not going to make the roofer do this, because he did the, you know, the exterior and the roof walk, the stuff he's going to repair, right? But here I am thinking like a rebel and thinking like everything else. Well, they got a rainstorm again last night after there's 9 holes left in the roof. That water goes into the attic, which is then insulation, which is then a problem. I'm gonna have a real fight on my hands here, boys and girls. When
there's
going to
be a lot of ensuing damage.
It's going to be interesting when I get to go to West Texas here in the next week or 2.
Is that considered a second loss?
No, it's ensuing
I think
damage.
it's going to be ensuing damage, because unfortunately the property manager for this apartment complex did a great job. I mean, you talk about like the tenants have got to be livid. Like, you saw cars just windows straight blown out, sunroofs blown out. The hail was coming in with an extreme force. And so I'm curious now, like, you know, here in the chat, if you had this kind of job and you're checking out this attic and you got you got Sedgwick here looking with you, it's going to be interesting to try and show like, hey, the rain came through, this all got wet, this all needs removed now. And that is, you talk about scope creep and job creep just off of a loss. It's going to get interesting to document this whole thing in its entirety.
Well, and that's where they're going to get you at. I can tell you right now, because they're going to say, because falling rain is category 1 per the standard. Wind driven rain is category 3.
What's going to be
What?
wind driven with? I can prove
Wait.
that there was, based on hail trace and core logic, I had 60 to 70 mile an hour sustained winds for up to 15
I think I
minutes.
just broke Andy's brain there when I said that.
You
too.
did. You did. You're going to have to explain yourself. So
That's
any
fair. I'll just-
wind driven rain is category 3. That was
Yeah,
not
here.
my understanding. So where are you getting that?
All right, so hang on. Here's the S500.
Okay.
I'm going to go up here to the top. S500 5th edition. Category of water. Let's see here. Originates from a sanitary water source can include, but not limited to, broken supply lines. Involving water, melting ice or snow, falling rainwater.
All right. Skip
Category
to the
1.
2. Skip to the 2.
Category 2. Category 2 water overflows, blah, 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 blah. Puncture. Category 3. All forms of flooding from seawater, rising water from rivers, or other contaminated water entering the affected indoor environment, such as wind-driven rain from hurricanes,
From
tropical
hurricanes. From
or other related
hurricanes.
events.
Yeah, this was not a hurricane. I have no hurricane to back
But
that
it's
up.
a weather-related event.
It is, but
Mm,
regardless of that, I'm not even worried about fighting category, Joe. I got to be honest with you.
No. Yeah, I
Category
wouldn't.
is not what I'm worried about. I need to just
No.
get this bought and paid for, because my client has been screwed royally by Sedgwick over the years, and that's why they picked me up. And I had 6 massive wins this spring, and this is the most bona fide win I've had thrown on my lap.
Mhm.
This one, I mean, when you look at those gutters, I mean, for wind to rip a gutter off with that force, I mean, come on.
That's why, like I said, I mean, like, if it's
But
a
it's-
TPA involved, they're going to try to be
so-
like, oh no, that's just category 1, because the wind didn't blow it into the hole. The hole's so big, the rain just fell straight into it now.
Well,
Yeah,
but
but-
my client also has their own construction company, so I'm not even worried as the build back. They're going to come in cheaper than what insurance is going to pay. It's just proving that this needs removed, because they have Sedgwick has a bad history of being like, well, you can just patch that up and the insulation should be fine inside. No, there are people living, like, you have people living underneath this.
No,
That's
no,
not
I would
okay.
I would say that water, once it gets into the attic, if there's enough volume, it's going to go through that insulation that's been there for 20 years, and then go through the drywall and whatever else. It's going to go through the building materials, which is going to add flavor to that Cat 1 water. So
Which is
yeah.
why I'm going on site to do an inspection,
not-
because you better believe I'm going to be going into those apartments looking for water damage at the ceilings.
yeah, it's not clean, but I wouldn't go Cat 3. I wouldn't even bother with Cat 3, something like that. Because
Why is that?
because hurricanes, the Cat 3 assumption is assuming that storm drains are backing up, sanitary sewer systems and municipalities of, they're all that stuff out of the ocean is being sucked up and aerosolized
Saltwater is so different.
and blown.
Sure,
You know, it's
but
just a
this-
different level of event than just rain and wind combined.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the point of intrusion was coming through the roof? It was through the shingles, through the decking and into the attic. Is that correct?
That is correct, which is also, like, to Lou's point, you're mixing a lot of materials that you don't know what was on the roof at said point,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you got a lot of different things that are on that roof said, hey,
Yeah.
birds poop on this roof and everything else. You got all that washing down in there.
What about the rodents that live inside that attic?
Yeah,
Let's
that
hope that Lou, stop. I don't need any rodents jumping out at me in West Texas, brother. I've already got to have a hard enough
That-
time in West Texas. I don't need some critter
The
come leaping out
reason
at me.
why the category 1 classification says falling rain is because if somebody leaves a fucking window open and rain comes in through the window, gets the carpet wet, they
Okay.
want to, they don't consider that to be category 3.
Right.
But like if you had a tornado, a hurricane, a tropical storm, some kind of a major weather event like that and all, then yeah, like that's why the wind, it's saying wind driven, because it's picking shit up off the ground and blowing it around in the rainstorm. If it's just a normal thunderstorm just raining straight down, That's where the they're saying the,
Mm.
and remember, guys, the biggest thing I've always tell everybody, there's a difference between the category of the source and the category of the loss. The category of the
Yes.
source might be a category 1 source,
For sure.
but you still have to treat the loss like a category 2 or 3. And that's where a lot of people get hung up on, and they forget about is, yeah, it's a supply line that broke. It's category 1. The insurance is like, oh, well, this is cat 1. Yes, it was a category 1 source, but due to the materials it went through, the cleanliness of the client, outlining factors, it had to be addressed as a category 2 or 3 loss. You can
Mm.
always
Since
have,
since I'm always learning, I'm all ears, I'm a sponge. But so my question is, so if we get coverage, Zach, in your case, if there is coverage, and you said that you're not worried about whether it's cat 1 or cat 3, my question is, if we get coverage and we're going to write the estimate, cat 3 is going to provide us, at the end of the day, is going to provide us a lot more dollars than anything cat 1 is going to.
Is it though?
I mean, until we, yeah, I think, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
this
Cat
is
3,
why IEPs
drywall.
are becoming so big, because
Well, at the end of the day,
take the issue out of
yeah.
our hands.
it's what you can prove. So you got to get the testing done if you
Well, and
really
that's
want to
where I
fight
was
for that.
getting to is I think, at the end of the day, depending on how Sedgwick wants to play this, and if I had to guess, and my fingers are crossed and I'm praying hard that they don't fight it, because this is, like I said, we walked this thing within 24 hours of the loss. 10 repairs were done today within 48 hours of the loss. And I gotta admit, like, the roofer, dude, this guy that I found in West Texas, he's a badass. Like, some of his 10 repairs were bona fide. But it's one of those things where I may have to get an IH involved, just for the simple fact that I've got people there that live in an
A
apartment
multi-dwelling
complex.
facility,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even ask. I wouldn't even
I
say.
gotta take their health. You don't know if they have other, disabilities, if they have other health issues, if they've got young ones, old elderly, like,
Mhm.
you don't know any of that stuff. And we're talking West Texas. So to Joe, to your point, like, yeah, I hear you, but at the same point, you're in West Texas and the wind's blowing like that, you get sand up there and everything else. There's a lot of contaminated stuff.
I got the
They can
right
get
person
down on
for
those holes.
that. Remember that fire job I did in Texas where we all were kind of joking about how extreme the IEP report was that went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that entire job got 100% covered.
Moberly, are you trying to get in this
The
conversation
full
now?
gut.
Moberly, are you asking for a link to this conversation?
Oh, Joe's getting in.
He says, send me a link, please. All right. Well, all you got to do is go to claimsdelegates.com/RRRT.
You should get the damn emails like I do.
Or
Come
let me
on,
see.
Joseph.
Let me see here if I can copy the invite.
God, we're gonna have
link.
2 Joes in the chat. This is gonna be crazy.
This is gonna end badly, but here you go.
It's gonna break the interwebs.
There you go, Joe. Make it happen.
But yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong, Spears. I see it on your end. And I mean, for my client's sake, I don't necessarily have to worry about the cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, but I do, because when they called me yesterday and they wanted me to go down, it wasn't even necessarily for the inspection with Sedgwick. It was for, I need to know if this is inhabitable, if I need to move people, if they've got bigger insurance problems. I mean, they got $1 billion, insurance deal here. They can't afford to get sued off of somebody getting sick. And Joe and I actually got called down, my partner and I, he's trying to jump in the chat. We got called down to one of these other assets 2 years ago, almost to the day. They had a backup where the AC units were creating a condensation, but it was a multi-tiered event where their water runoff was draining back underneath the complex and water was evaporating up from underneath the slab. And it was where and how they built it. It was a whole builder services
and they had
thing.
secondary damage inside the units.
Secondary damage on every first level unit, and we were able to prove that it was actually the builder who, it did wrongful installation and did wrongful building, and then they ended up winning the suit, which is where this client's like golden to us. Like, we've already proved our weight in gold on that front. But that's why they want to send me to West Texas now, because they're like, I need you to look through different things. Like, did the because they got fire suppression systems. Did any of those get, contaminated or have issues with, because if water came through the ceiling, they've seen crazy shit happen. You could have dumb stuff happen if there's wiring up there, if there's anything else that runs through those, because I don't know. I don't know until I put my eyes on it. And if there's anything that could have an issue, they've got to know about it.
Yeah,
Like
hail
scorpions,
is,
snakes,
man, hail is going to become, until they start excluding it. And there are policies that do exclude hail, and you have to get a different rider for hail damage. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
If you're in Texas and you don't have a hail rider, you are a dumbass.
You're stupid.
If you're in Tornado Alley, just like how Florida, they're starting to exclude named peril
Yep.
hurricanes from the policy.
Yep.
Hail damage and all, when you live in Hurricane Alley, is going to start getting excluded a lot.
What's
Luckily,
up,
it's not-
Rebel scum?
What's
There
up,
he
rebel
is.
scum?
There he is.
What's up, dirty dog? Moberly, you got an opinion here. I want to hear it.
No, I missed the boat on whatever you guys are talking about. I just wanted to say hello.
No, we're talking about me going to West Texas and having to inspect attics that Lou apparently wants a rabid, animal to jump out at my face at.
Yes, he wants rodents. He wants to see the scars.
Have you ever encountered a raccoon in an attic, Zach?
I
No.
don't care to, and I got to fly, so I don't really care to bring my gun, and there's all
Remember,
that.
raccoons and possums are covered perils. They are not rodents.
I had a job once, guys, where a customer, this is back when I was in betweens women's, the customer set a taxidermy raccoon up at the front base of this attic access, and I probably jumped about a foot going up that damn ladder.
I will say though, raccoons and stuff, those guys, they don't mess around. I mean, I just got done doing earlier in the year, we did a $30,000 job, and it was literally because there's a whole family of raccoons up in the attic, and they had shit everywhere, and their urine had leaked through the insulation down into the ceiling of the drywall. So we had to get them out. We had to get all the feces out, all the insulation out, remove
Yep.
all the affected drywall. I mean, this whole house almost every room of the house got a brand new ceiling in it, brand new insulation in the attic.
Mhm.
And them raccoons will tear stuff up.
Yeah,
How
they're
did you click?
nasty.
How did you clear the structural components in there?
What do you mean?
How did you clean out the structural components once in the attic, when you get the insulation out, all the rafters, all that kind of stuff?
We tore the ceiling out and we cleaned all the rafters with a biocide and then we put it back together again.
Gotcha.
It's easy. Dude, I love raccoon job. Possums are meaner than raccoons. Raccoons usually are a little bit more timid at times as they feel threatened, but a possum tear your face off in a heartbeat.
Just to
Like-
let the chat know, you guys are not giving me any faith of jumping into an attic in West Texas here in a week. I'm just saying.
At
You're
least
really
you're
really
getting-
not helping me here.
At least you're not getting in the crawl spaces, finding a
Those
big old
attics
snake
are
I
or a
worse.
might have to do some of that too, Joe. I'm just saying, and it's West Texas. You
Watch
don't
out
know what
for
you'll find down there.
rattlesnakes, scorpions. Them snakes will get in there to cool off and everything. Like, I mean, heck, when I was in California,
The client's bill is going up by like $1,000 every minute Joe talks.
Yep.
that's
Yep.
why you have to have two people there. That's why it's
Just for hazard pay.
It's a
Just for
confined
hazard
space.
pay.
Confined space.
Assumed risk is high. Value add.
No kidding. No kidding.
But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But I will say the hail in Texas right now, like for any restorers who are listening or will listen to this, like if you do exteriors in Texas, my asset hit rate on hail trace went from, I had one asset impacted at 4 p.m. I just got a email an hour ago.
11.
It's at 11. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna have some fun emails to send off in the morning.
Skynet tells us when shit gets hit, and then we send the alerts out to them.
Am I the only person that hates the fact that it's called Skynet?
Wait, is it literally Skynet?
No, it's hail trace. but
Okay.
I'm calling it
Okay.
Skynet.
I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of people call it Skynet before,
Yeah.
though. Like,
I
it's-
ordered a Skynet t-shirt from Instagram and I still haven't gotten it. I feel like I got ripped off.
Well, the
Yeah.
robots probably quit working. The robots quit working for Andy.
I want a Skynet T-shirt. What is it? Cyberdyne Technology.
It was yeah, exactly. It was awesome.
Yeah.
At least the picture was.
But I mean, so it's in Texas there, so it's a dry desert area there and stuff. I mean, hell, by the time the sun came out, it probably dried itself out. What's the normal humidity over there right now in the daytime?
It's not as high as you'd think. They're actually getting a lot of saturation. They had rainstorms all day today.
Well, I heard it just snowed in New Mexico.
And I'm thinking about I may have to fly into New Mexico because Andy and I, before we even got on this quandary, were talking about where I should fly in, whether it's
There's no good
DFW or
place.
Albuquerque. There's no good place to get to this place. Like, it's so remote. I'm in the car for a good 7 hours regardless.
Well, there's got to be a local private Air Force or airport.
Sure, if I want to spend 14 hours flying, Joseph.
Would you rather spend 14 hours flying or 10 hours flying?
I mean, I don't care to have a 5-hour late. I mean, I may as well. I'm a go-getter. I'd rather just go. I don't care to sit in an airport for 5 hours. That just kills me.
I think Las Cruces, New Mexico is closer than Austin, DFW, or San Antonio.
Mythbusters did a test. As long as it's 4 hours or more of a drive, it's always faster to fly.
Always faster to fly.
You're not wrong.
If anyone in the
Right.
peanut gallery has any suggestions for where Zach should make his arrival point,
Well,
please
let's.
tell us.
I mean, could it
He's
be
going
smarter to
to.
go
Well,
up to like
he's going to Pecos. Pecos.
Is it smarter to go
PECOS.
into like Arkansas or
Texas.
Colorado and drive south instead of?
No. This is about an hour from Mexico. So I'm looking at Fort Bliss. No, El Paso. I think you're flying into El Paso, my friend.
We did not look at El Paso. Good job, Andy. Good job.
PECOS?
I'm good for something.
Where was it that you flew
PECOS.
into when you went to Mammoth? What was it, Sacramento?
Oh God, that was a shit show. But yes, I flew into Sacramento just to get to Mammoth Lakes, California. But that's just because I couldn't get into Reno short notice.
Hell, it'd probably be quicker just to fly into like Juarez or Juarez and drive back over.
Take your passport. It's
They
international
take
travel.
shots at tourists down in Juarez.
I mean,
Yeah,
Odessa
I don't know if
should
I'm getting out of there alive there, Spears. So I really
Odessa,
appreciate the
no,
feedback.
Odessa,
Shows me
Texas
Spears
should have
Spears
Air
doesn't want to hear
Force.
from me anymore. He's like, Zach's going MIA.
Well, I
And
mean, you got Fort
if he goes-
Davis.
If he
Texas,
goes into Juarez, how's he going to get across the border with that secure border that we have down there?
Just
I'm
hop on
jumping the
train
fence,
like the
Lou.
other
I'm jumping
migrants.
the fence. I'm
Yeah.
climbing the wall.
Well, you've
No,
got
I
You
Fort
guys
think
see
you're fine to
Elon
El
Musk
Paso.
down there at Eagle Pass? It looked like a train leaving
You're
from
talking about
Mumbai,
SpaceX?
India, with 10,000 people on top of the train riding into the U.S. of A. Why it was
What?
down there? Yeah. They just
No,
climbing on.
honestly-
rolling in. Now.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna fly into Albuquerque. That way, at least I can make my. I'll post a Rebels photo with a peace sign as I'm outside of Area 51.
There you go.
Then I will. That'll be like the epic Rebel photo. Like, boom, Area 51, bitches. Let's
I
go.
don't know. We got people there. We got people everywhere.
You got to take the underground subway, to really get in there.
All right. Did we lose the peanut gallery? Let me come back in here. Yeah, Tarpley. Yeah, going to Tarpley Air Force Base. There you go. Cora's on it.
Air Force Base. Tell that man to hook me up. Get me some creds.
Right? How'd you get here?
I'll fly in there.
F-35.
I'll build a client. It's all good. Hey, I'm going by F-35. We got a straight. I got Wright Pat Air Force Base not far from you. We can go Air Force Base to Air Force Base. What are we talking
There you
about?
go. There you go. Yeah, you're going C-130 though. You're riding baggage.
I'm riding the tank.
Yeah.
I'll sit in the back and hang out. It'll be all good.
Drop you out the back of that thing.
Might need I can just parachute in on the roof. Here's the hail hits. I can take photos from company cam as I'm coming in, like aerial view. Aerial view. Here's the property.
We're gonna spend a couple minutes. We're gonna spend a couple minutes in the peanut gallery here. Let's bring this up.
Let's do it.
So I just stopped on this one because Ford has shit for brakes. I've redone my brakes on my F-150 3 times. Ford doesn't know how to do brakes. So
That's because they buy all their components from China.
they just undersize them. They undersize them.
Bailey.
Terrible.
They are not made in America anymore.
Is anyone having success with collecting Matterport charges? That's a good question.
Yeah. If you
it's-
do it right and
yes.
document it right, yes.
I will say yes and no. Like Matterport, if you're just Matterporting like a single bathroom and trying to charge for it,
No.
probably not.
Got to
But
be a
if-
bigger loss.
Yeah, like it needs to be like at least the entire level of property.
If you've got a flood that started on the second floor of the house and it burst through, like say the kitchen ceiling, flooded a kitchen, family room, living room, those big main spaces, maybe even a little bit into the office downstairs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you should be able to sell that.
Yeah, all day long.
And Andy, it's another shameless plug for you with the QuickCheck. Like that's where you should be able to, like, honestly, an onboarding package, when you're talking to your client, you tell them, hey, we've got this, and just sell them up front. Like if insurance isn't going to cover this, this is what helps us ensure that your job's done in full and it's only going to be XYZ. You can
Well,
Joe,
sell
what's
that
that?
every
What's
day of
that
the
code,
week.
Joe?
There's FEE sketch, which is the time to take to sketch the property. And then there's FEE scan 3D is the
it's
time to
3
scan the property.
Yep.
Fee scan. Yeah.
Fee scan 3D.
Yep.
And all then sketch is the fee for like if you do like the true sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Or if
And
you're
those are
doing
$0.
full.
You got to name your own price.
Yeah, it's fee sketch. Now me personally on the sketches, I just pass it on. It's nothing additional for me to click one single button to order the thing. So I don't charge an upcharge on the sketch part, but I do charge on the scan 3D for my time to go through and record the property for prosperity's sakes. Now,
Well, and that's what it is. It's a labor aspect, Joe. I mean,
Time
that's
is
what
money.
we're doing.
Yep.
It's
now
time
that
is
being
money.
said though, guys, like I only will charge it for a one-time pass through the house, regardless if we do it once or if we do it twice or if we do it 3 times. Like,
No, if you got to do it 2 or 3 times, that's on you and the professionalism of you and your camera.
yeah, because like I usually
I hate
scan
to
on
say
day
it.
1 and then after all the demo's done. So I have a before and after, but I'll only charge it for a one-time calculation.
Well, and that back end, what you just said, the before and after, the after is what's going to help the restore. That's kind of a cost of doing business at that point of this is what shows where it's at.
Yeah.
And it's
All right,
ready
so
for rebuild at that point.
This person wants us to critique his containment here.
What the fuck?
I
What
mean,
is that on the wall? I have
Preservation
so many questions.
that looks like marble.
looks like a marble wall accent.
That looks like
Mhm.
a block of
Or-
onyx mix of something.
I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
I hate rosin paper. That shit just breaks it's like construction paper and when you're in school.
Yeah,
like, it falls
it's
apart.
not. Yeah, that's not going to stand up.
Use
very long.
ram board or
Well, and people got to stop
containment looks good.
epoxying everything. Can we just get that out there? Stop epoxying everything. I've seen so many bathrooms that have got epoxy floors and epoxy walls, and what are we doing? What are we doing?
Guess how many floors you have to take up when they're epoxied though?
Oh God!
many.
All of them.
the only thing I would
Not-
say on this
Not if
containment-
it's sealed right.
the
Oh,
only
really?
thing- the
Yeah,
only thing I
if it's sealed right is the key word.
The only thing I would like to see on this container right now is one 9x9 filter up on the wall there to allow for it to be able to breathe a little bit to help prevent backlash when you open the containment up, especially with a double zipper.
Yeah. So
yeah, you
I'm
would
gonna
have to have a filter up there somewhere.
name this containment when you absolutely positively want to paint the entire ceiling.
Oh God, yeah.
This is
Yep,
not
it's
coming
textured
down
too.
nicely.
No, that was
Oh,
textured
I'll tell
too.
everybody right now, if we use a zip pole, on a, especially on a flat wall, maybe not. But if it's a textured ceiling and my guys use a zip pole, I am putting in for that ceiling to probably be repainted with a little bit of touch up because they're gonna
and some
damage the
texture probably, and some
Yeah.
texture. But all in all, that looks good. Looks great.
No, good containment.
I will s- My
Mr.
two things, like I
Joseph.
said, a little filter there, and then they need to have a flap over the double zippers. So when that zipper get done, the flap keeps it from losing too much negative air. Like
Yeah,
almost like a T flap with a
I
double zipper.
can't
I would
tell
do
if
a
this is
foot of
under.
slack at the base too.
I don't know if this is
Yeah.
under negative containment. I don't know if it's under negative pressure.
Need a
I
sticky
can't
mat.
tell. He's not showing us the inside of the containment
There's a scrubber right there.
right there, but it's
Nope.
not ducted. It's
Yeah,
not even
it's
plugged in.
positively pressurized plastic box. Yeah.
Here's a great question for you guys. Go back to that picture real quick.
Which
Theoretical question with the air
This
scrubber.
one?
Let's say that there was mold in this inside this chamber here,
Okay.
and the homeowner doesn't want you to, it doesn't have any mold coverage. Can you set, since you have it under containment like this, can you set up air movers along with it? Do you use to dry it out with in all that you're going to prevent cross contamination? I mean, granted, they don't have the duct there covered up, but if you properly contain it up, can you set air movers in inside of a moldy contamination zone and force dry it still? Or can you only use air scrubbers and DUs?
I think as long as if your containment is good, there's no wrong. I mean, move all the air you need.
Doesn't the protocol say to, remove the material, disinfect it, HEPA-vac once you've done your HEPA sandwich, and you can get to the structural parts and need drying, then you introduce the air movement.
Well, in this situation, like
Generally.
You could do low volume, like
they had, well,
DU
the
air
situation we
movement.
had
Matt.
was that they had mold. The water damage was the only thing covered, and all, but they had mold up above the cabinets like 4 foot, and the insurance didn't want to cover for additional demolition because of the mold issue. So they built containment up and set air movers within the containment to force dry everything out without cross contaminating the rest of the property. And like they try to charge for the air movers and the deconning of them, and the judge was like, you don't set air movers, and if you don't have to decon air movers because they shouldn't be set until the mold problem's gone. And it's like no one wanted to pay for the mold problem. So
that's Monday morning quarterback. That guy can fuck off. I'll tell him.
If it goes in that plastic,
Give me his phone
box,
number.
it's
I'll tell
hot.
him myself.
Yeah. If it goes in that little room, that containment, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. So, Mr. Anthony Joseph said something really nice here in the chat of the video. So I'm gonna say it. So I think this goes to all of us in the room right here. He says, "Hey everyone, just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to all of you for your incredible dedication and commitment in this group chat. As a relatively new restoration business owner with a background in project management and construction restoration, I am truly grateful for the wealth of information and valuable insights that you all generously share. Thank you so much." You are welcome, Mr. Joseph.
Good deal. Good deal.
You are welcome.
That's why we're here. That's why
That
we
is
get on.
exactly why we're here.
Yep. That's why we do this.
It is why we do it.
I
And for those of you who missed it, the young lady I was trying to help out with my post yesterday found a great new job with great benefits and everything. So that's on us. We did a good job for her
Power of the
yesterday.
network.
Is that the
Power
lady
of the
that was
network.
being blacklisted and harassed?
Yes.
That's just wrong when you do that. This is people's livelihoods, they have to be able to move on just because you didn't like them,
Well, yeah, and the problem is, and I don't know if it's a restoration specific problem, but it seems to be. We've got owners that are just their ego comes through the door about 2 days before they do, and they can't separate their ego from their business, and they just get stupid.
They're
just
not
get
connected.
stupid.
They're not connected, the business owner part, which is why if Lou's still here, Lou's been awesome in jumping on these because he is somebody who's still out there doing it and, has been doing it for a long time. And, I as much as he likes our insight, I love his because, he's really seen some stuff. We know some stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, Lou has seen more than all of us.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate Lou. Lou, you are a man amongst men.
Can anyone give me an idea of going salary range for a lead tech in the Seattle, Washington market? $30 to $35
Andy, you
an hour.
can.
Is that real? Well, I think
That seems low to me for this climate.
yeah, that's
That was lead tech?
lead tech in Seattle,
Lead tech.
Washington. The
That seems
cost of
low to me.
living is way up there. $35 an hour. That probably is right.
Oof, that's low.
I actually want
You
to see
think?
what Xactimate says right now for it, like the default that they haven't said it is. So hang on, give me a second.
Yeah, figure that out.
All right, so that would
It's gonna be
for
higher, but
Xactimate's price list. WTR LAB. The hourly rate is $99.60, but the labor wage is $32.10 an hour.
32.10. All right. So yeah. So you need to be, man.
Holy shit.
Remember, Xactimate's opinion is that's how much you would pay somebody with 5 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Mhm.
text 30 to 40 an hour. They get overtime. They get bonus incentives for
Yeah, you got to build in the incentive plan and the
ABH and all
package.
that.
Then benefits
Yeah.
package and all that shit's got to be built in.
Yeah, you can make 75 to over 100,000 a year, but you won't be home being a tech, you know.
Especially a
gotta
lead
like
tech, you
reality.
got a goat rodeo at that point.
Why they're all young guys that don't have families for the most part.
Sometimes you just got to put your time in and hope you can move up, I guess, you know.
Insurance, GL. Yeah. Anyone in Washington State have an experience using 33-mile radius? I mean, how many times are going to? Okay, let's have the 33-mile radius.
Fuck
I haven't heard any good
33.
things.
No, fuck
I
33.
mean, anyone that gets leads, and then sells them to multiple people, bad news.
Dirty.
It's dirty business. It's a
33-mile
dirty
radius is the
marketing.
one that makes up a bunch of fake websites for you.
Oh, they
Yeah,
no, they
dude,
make
yeah,
no,
Joe,
they don't make
they
them for
do dumb
you. They
shit.
make them for themselves. They make thousands of websites per market for themselves, and then they resell those leads they get.
Yeah, because I worked for a company that did 33-mile, and like you would say, I want this location, this location, this location, and they'd make a fake website up with your company name on it, and the phone number would go to them, and they'd call you and say, hey, we have a lead for you. I mean,
Yeah, and it's a bullshit lead at that 9 times out of 10.
leads doesn't spend at least 10 to 20 hours a week. I'd say about 10 hours a week going through all the phone calls that came in and disputing the ones that were marketers or bad phone calls and things like that. Because anybody that calls those numbers, you get charged for. And if you don't take the time to go through and dispute each of the calls that weren't valid, you can get charged a shit ton of money on.
Yeah, you can. And it becomes a full-time job, just disputing calls, disputing charges.
And disputing
yeah.
calls that don't turn into jobs. You
Yeah.
might give the call, but then they don't turn into a job.
Yes. So for what you spend, you're better off hiring somebody, full-time marketer, or doing your own advertising.
Or doing a salesperson. Like get relationships back. Relationships need to be a thing.
Let's bring
See, I mean,
relationships back.
Our point earlier, which was where, Spears, you were on something with, the ticky-tack garbage bags and the bullshit. As much as we wanted to go there, it's all about that relationship with the homeowner, though, at the end of the day, man. I mean, that's where you can do people solids and you can prove things on the invoice that, yeah, I could have charged for this, but I'm doing this. The XL dehues, but I could have charged for the large. Let me bill for the large, even though I dried out in 2 days. You do stuff like that to make it a good honor system, because guess what? Then those people go, hey, you got anything? You could throw them the magnet. They throw it in their fridge. They tell their friends, like, hey, these guys came in. They dried it out 2 days. They were out of our hair.
Give
People
them the
have no
biggest
idea.
tease you can give them and give them 5 magnets.
Yeah. The power of
Because they dry
that, though, it excels so much forward.
Yep.
Versus anything else you're going to do.
Does anyone here use iTel app?
It sucks. It sucks.
You shouldn't use iTel. Period.
Well.
Okay, why? Why would you use iTel, Mr. Spears?
First off, there's still always a lot of people in the group here that are on EPA stuff like that there, and so they have to.
Programs, yes, they do.
But as far as it goes, regardless, the carriers are going to use ITEL no matter what. So that being said, you can go to ITEL's website, you can go to the shopping icon there, and you can order 2-day or next day bags that have the UPS label shipping bag, the sticker on it, the form to fill out for free. And you can order as many as you want. You can order 1,000 at a time. And every time that the test results that come back are going to be better than using the app. It's not
The app is just taking a picture.
It takes, well, no, like you got to do a bunch of shit. Like if it's on wood floor, you got to set it in there and take a picture this way, turn it this way. You got to scrape off some of the flooring so they can see below the finish. There's like every time you
Can we get into that a little bit, like Joe's talking about? So let's say you've got a system that is supposed to be a weight and scale of justice for fucking materials, excuse my French. And you have a variable input system. It is to the advantage of the carrier that the guy
I'm sitting
at
down.
Joe Blow Restoration is he's able to know how to do his cuts, his scrapes, get the right angle, make sure that he doesn't have a bunch of dust on his window screen on the tray with the light coming up underneath it. If you don't do it just right, you could get variations in the scan from the pictures, and it could affect your material rate. And so I would say on ITEL, yeah, it is a control method. I have seen it come up where they initially said like the carpet was lower, and then it comes back and it's double the price, and it's like
That doesn't happen enough.
guys,
Yeah.
if you're doing ITELs, whether because you're required to or just because you're playing the game and you're just sitting off as a courtesy to the bill, you can, if you do the form, you can choose to bill to the
Yeah, don't use the app. Use the actual physical mail-in. They're free and they pay for the shipping. Just do it.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
If
told
you're gonna
everybody,
do it, do the physical piece, the physical sample.
do the physical piece, and then like I said, you just throw it
Hey,
on
Andrew,
there,
good to see you, bud.
bill it to the carrier, and if the carrier doesn't want it, guess what? No harm, no foul. But at least it's not like you're supposed to pay for it and then add it to your estimate. Just bill it to the carrier and let them choose to either pay for it and have the results or not, because you'll get a copy of the file as well.
If someone's got a piece of flooring, for example, and it's not just flooring, and they know that it's way more than what insurance is paying, 9 times out of 10, those people had a say or were involved in the process of installing said material, right? They probably have receipts or something to help back up that claim.
Your receipts will always,
Which is where, to like Joe's point, that's where you should go first versus, what is this?
Well, even still, like most time you send an ITEL sample off, you only need to do ITEL samples on flooring if it's more than 100 square feet of flooring. That's carrier across the board for everybody. 100 less than 100 square feet, no one cares. More than 100, you take a sample of it. But if your homeowner has a receipt and they can show how much they pay for it, then that will trump the ITEL sample results.
Well, which is even better, because if they have a receipt, guess what? I got receipts, and that means it's newer. So that means you can F off with all your BS on depreciation and the whole deal. I installed this floor 2 years ago, and this is what it was. But also, if that's the case, you could probably still find said material. Let's be honest. The ITEL game is when you can get into, you can't necessarily find that material anymore on siding, on flooring.
On average, every 6 months, flooring producers change their dye pattern by about 2 to 3%, just enough so they can say this flooring is no longer available.
Exactly.
Supply chain isn't what it was 3 years ago. We are not getting boats from China, which means those shitty brakes you were buying are going to have to be made elsewhere, maybe even here.
That's great here.
Well, Sean,
you
said travelers calls IC. I mean, hey, if you didn't want the results, don't pay for it, is what I would have responded to him. Like, hey, I've sent it off as a courtesy. If you don't want it, you don't have to pay for it. In the story, it's not like they force them to pay for it. But travelers will do it.
ICU, like, is that SIU? what's ICU, Sean? Is it Special Investigations Unit or what's that mean? Anyway,
I'm
That's
assuming
what
you mean
SIU would be, yeah.
but
I'm assuming-
ICU, I don't know what ICU is. So Sean got in
Intensive
trouble
care unit.
he got in trouble for
Insurance
sending an
Carrier
ITEL.
University.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it is SIU. Wow. That's pretty extreme for sending samples without approval. Wow.
Dude, that's
Hmm.
some bullshit right there.
That's some
Yeah.
horror shit.
That's what my response would have been like, what did you pay for it? No, then what's the issue? You did pay for it, then obviously they wanted it. What's the issue?
Just
How
a
many millions of
technicality to
dollars?
scare the contractor. To
It's
shake
exactly
down.
what it is. It's a shakedown. It's a
Yeah.
shakedown.
Yep.
It's a shakedown, but that's where that's like, reach out to people that have some expertise in that situation. Be willing
But
to pay a little bit for that expertise in that
what
situation.
they
and
don't
let's go.
what they don't
Let's
understand is Mr. Ivory is Russian. You don't fuck with Russians.
Listen, Russians are shooting down their own planes right now, so the Russians are fucking with Russians.
All right, he's probably not. I don't remember, Sean. I'm sorry if you're not Russian, or if you are. This has been a long day.
Guys, I got to get going. Thank you for your time.
Hey, Lou, good to hear you, man. Good to see
Lou,
you.
thank you for showing up, sir. We appreciate
Love
you.
you guys. See you next week. Thanks.
No, he says hell no, he's not Russian. Okay, my bad, Sean. My bad. We are.
Andy fucked that one up.
I totally, story of my
If they're
life.
not in the Russian army, they're probably okay. So
Hey, my favorite story was I worked with a guy at Roto-Rooter who was Russian, and they told him to go to the homeowner's house to collect the check because the intern had sent the check to him. And when he knocked on the door and they were like, oh, well, we don't have the check right now. He walked into their house, took their television and their computer and PlayStation and said, now my bill's paid, and took collateral for it because they didn't have their check. And we had to explain to him that you can't do
That's
that.
not
here.
what we do here. That's
and
not
that
how
is a
we do it.
crime. I've heard some scary stories
Only the
about
contents
plumbers.
backup people are allowed to hold contents as collateral, not the mitigation
Have-
company.
So have you exactly? Have you guys seen any of you four now? And I think we lost everybody in the chat except for the non-Russian. Have you watched the Apple TV show Slow Horses?
No.
No,
It is. It's good. It's
I don't
real
have
good.
Apple TV.
Yeah,
I can't subscribe to any more streaming services, Andy. I'm trying to cut
That's fair.
down.
That's fair. Well,
Yeah,
we
you
worked
gotta
our
pay
way
for
through.
Disney for the kids, so it's
Yeah.
like $800 a month now.
You guys hit me up. I'll hook you up with my Plex account. You guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a
But-
Flex. Yeah.
Slow
Um,
Horses though is it's a good series.
Oh, I just remembered one thing I want to tell you guys about because I was blown away. I have a job that came in to Terre Haute, way out in the boonies of Indiana. State Farm, tree fell on the back side of the house. Full roof replacement, and I get a full gut the house out because the house was built in 58 and the electrical panels undersized, so they're giving us full rewiring. So because a tree fell over one bedroom in the back corner of this house, we're getting a full new roof and an entire full gut by State Farm.
Wow.
Someone
That
did
does
their
not happen
drilling
every day.
correctly.
Super win, bro.
Does not
Super
happen
win.
every day.
I was
So
like,
the
Did
full
their
gut.
preliminary good, and they
The-
knew what to expect.
Wait, the full gut is for the rewire?
yeah. Here, I'll show you. Hang on, I'll show you.
What?
There
Yeah,
we go.
you would think they would say, hey, just rewire it without full gut. No?
Well,
Usually it's like demo by square foot, and then they'll pay for each
Gotta-
circuit you
I
replace.
mean,
right?
look at the condition of this house here. Like this house is not,
Oof.
I mean,
It's rough.
That is not a spring chicken.
but this house, yeah, because the damage is here from where the tree fell in. And State Farm has approved an 100% new roof. With
How much
new-
water was in there?
with new redeck. This happened in July, and the adjuster couldn't even get out there until last week.
Oh,
This is what pisses
asbestos?
me off.
I mean, they're going to test for it, but I mean, this has been sitting without power or anything for 2 months now. And but we
Okay,
had to do a full
okay.
redeck. We had to do a full redeck, and they're paying to have this whole place gutted down to the studs so we can do
Mhm.
a rewire on there. Code upgrade will fall into place on this, but this is, yeah.
It's a good job.
State Farm is like, I was like, wait, you're State Farm? And they're like, yep. I was like, cool.
They needed this. This house needed this.
Yeah. And I had to walk around. I couldn't even get through the door into the garage here.
Are you rocking the Pro 3?
Pro 2.
Oh, so you just lucked out that the sun angle was.
That's the
Get on
one-
top of that roof and squirt some whipped cream and put a cherry on it, just before you come to the roof.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was
That
Take a
right
nice
there.
photo, be like, bought. State
That
Farm.
right there is a
This thing.
Moberly analogy.
Dig
Straight-
in,
you heard it
boys.
here.
Dessert is served.
But yeah, like they even said, hey, if you can't match the siding, let us know and all. And the house, I was like, I don't think we're gonna match this.
Red
guy.
to white. Red to white. Yeah, there we go.
But I was like,
Man.
really? Like,
Is that 3-tone siding?
no, that's just faded
Mhm.
as hell.
Yes, it's 3-tone now.
But
It's a
In the words
three-tone
of Tourette's,
siding
man,
job.
that's just pit dirt,
and there's a
just-
fireplace in here, I
Uh.
guess. Like, I gotta go back out here after all the contents get out. But like I don't
The
even
crap
know.
is up with the webs.
Dude, this place smelled like a cat piss and a wet dog had a baby together. Like it was
Oh,
bad in here.
you could
That's like
taste
some
it.
mold webs.
It looks like
Yeah.
it.
I
It
really
looks
like
like
this though set up here because this is actual brick. Like this is legitimate brick.
That
and
is
they-
that's a circa 1972 stove controls right there.
Yeah.
Brady
And-
Bunch.
I
That
do
is
like
Brady
this here. I like the
Those got to be
adjuster-
new tones. Yeah.
the adjuster missed the room here because he didn't realize the door was there. And when he walked into the door here and didn't realize there's a door behind here and there was an entire another wing of the house.
Ah,
And
oh
all
well,
that-
there's the smell factor.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
birds too. Oof.
everything. But yeah, this is going to be a full 100% gut with a brand new roof, redecking on the roof, and all. And the
All
adjuster
right.
that was
So
out
have
there,
you written this estimate yet?
I have not started yet because and this is what I'll make you laugh the most on this here. I have the adjuster's estimate here for this property. Take a guess. Take a guess what State Farm's number is currently on this.
63.
120.
No, 63.
Doing 120.
Mm.
I feel like Andy might actually know State Farm better than anybody else at this point because the entire number on this
I was just
project-
saying they were buying it all. I'm going high.
the entire project came out to $66,000.
Ain't no fucking way.
But wait, it gets better. I laugh my ass off. So,
I want the over
There's
under on
more.
your
Wait,
number.
There's more.
Okay.
you're gonna see my messy background here, so just deal with it real quick.
Your
here.
number is going to be, I think your number is going to be 270.
All right, so they sketched it out, which by the way, I love the fact that he didn't know how to connect the roofs here because it was
Ooh.
because EagleView gave him a 2D, and so he had to draw this out. He didn't know how to connect the roofs here. And I was like,
Good
that's-
God.
But wait, it gets better.
Well, there's your water
wait.
problem right there, Mr.
There's
Adjuster.
more.
Look,
The
There's
roof
more.
doesn't fit
Take a
together.
look at this. Take a
not
look
even
at this.
plastered right.
Oh, he sketched the rooms individually.
Yes.
Oh, he's
Oh.
new. He's
Oh,
new.
that's so cute.
Yeah. Like, I was like,
Andy
what
just
is
bought it.
this?
Andy just bought it. He might be recruited to be a rebel writer here soon because he's gonna hate life here in about 3 weeks.
He'll be
He's gonna
summarily
really,
executed.
he's gonna really hate fucking life here in about 3 fucking weeks.
Oh man.
He literally told me like
Wow.
he's got like a year of experience, he said, and I was like, I'm so sorry because you're
I'm-
about to hate me.
Is that a 12-month year?
He's like, I don't even
Dude,
have
he
level.
doesn't even know how
I
to
was like,
connect
well-
roofs.
I told him I was like, I'm level 3 and stuff, dude. So I'll make sure this is good. He's like, heck, I don't even have level 1 yet. And I was like,
Get
we're gonna
out.
have some fun, my friend.
They don't even give
That's
him
what they're
level
going
1?
to now. That's what they're going to now.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Brutal.
I mean,
Doesn't even
overall,
connect the roof.
overall, I mean, what's funny is, I mean, it's not the, he tried. He really did try. I mean, overall, he tried his best to write a good estimate. And I can see that. Like he
See,
actually,
this is going to be a rebel writer in a year from now. He's going to be like, you know what? Fuck these State Farm guys. The hell with this shit.
but yeah, I mean, he tried, he had, remove insulation, drywall, prime paint, crown molding, stain the crown, remove, replace light fixtures. But, I mean, it's not a bad estimate from an adjuster point of view. I mean, hell, he did include angle stop valves on the floor, on the plumbing and everything.
See, that's what I'm telling you. He's actually seeing scope. He just doesn't know how to sketch and fill in the blanks of the other parts. So that's not really necessarily bad, but Joe, educate his ass.
I'm going to call it. I think you're going to be 4X. You're going to be 4X what he came up with.
I know they have like $230,000 in coverage, and I was like, well, you're
blown.
at 66. I said we're probably gonna be close to that, or maybe a little bit higher than that.
It's gone.
But yeah,
Let's
right now
just run a check.
I'm just gotta wait for the pack out to be done so I can actually see the property.
Oh yeah, pack out. The pack out's going to be 70. The pack out's going to be more than what he wrote for the structure.
Unless they're doing it themselves, yeah.
No, originally the homeowner wanted to do it herself, but she's an older woman who's missing the top knuckle of each of her fingers. She's only got one knuckle on each hand, and she's like, "Yeah, I was gonna call the family out here." And
was she an Everest mountain climber?
Oh, no, I think
we got an October special here.
I think a cow or something bit her fingers off. That's the only thing I can figure out because she's got a bunch of animals on the farm.
She will go down as Knuckles.
But she's like, well, I already rented a storage pod, and I went to the bank and I got a loan so I could get the dumpster here and everything. And I was like, man, there's mold in here. Like, let us handle it. She's like, oh, I didn't realize you guys would do that. And I was like, yeah, guys.
Brutal.
So,
but I mean, under only 230 in policy coverage, yeah. I mean, she's not making bad moves. She's got to cover her shit where
she's got to get it done within limits, which is going to be hard. So have you seen the policy? There's no riders. There's no.
Well, she's got. Let's see here. Let me look at the point here. She's got.
I've seen some State Farm policies with some riders that add hundreds of thousands.
Here's what's really weird about it. So let's see here. They've
$350 all in
deductible.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe.
Oh, the other structure that was for the barn. Yeah, she's got like 230 in coverage. She's got
what about code upgrade?
Law and order in its coverage. She has that.
So 10%.
10%.
So 230 plus 23.
Plus 5% for disposal fees.
Okay.
And 120 in contents coverage.
Ooh.
That's going to be enough.
Too bad.
That's going to be enough
better
for
than
the contents.
House budget resolution right there.
Yeah, she might not be too bad. You could work and finagle that and get that done.
Hell, we could run the federal government on that shit.
I mean, who is running the federal government these days? We had a House Speaker ousted last night, so yeah, we don't have a guidance ship right now.
Yeah, I think
rebels are running the fucking show. Let's go.
I think all the House Republicans are going to take 4 minutes. They're going to be Speaker of the House for 4 minutes each for the next year and a half.
Yeah, got to do it Monty Python style, where they're an autonomous collective and they take turns, right?
We'll send them some coconuts that have the rebel branding on it, and they won't know what it is. Just clap them together. Here comes
the
rebels.
First attempt at lobbying. Oh shit!
On that note,
I will let everybody know what my number ends up being on that, because
please do.
Yeah.
Let me know, Joe. I'm curious.
I've wrote, the last few estimates I've wrote, even for like a couple of the PAs I've written for, they're just like cherry on the cake. Like they're like they've gotten approved with 0 kickbacks. Like I've actually been having really good success lately with my adjusters. I also think it's because I refuse to do any files that I know Travelers involved on, because everyone wants to hate on State Farm. Everyone wants to hate on Allstate, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I'd rather work for them all day long. Travelers is the devil.
They're terrible.
I cannot stand Travelers.
Spears just stay frosty, and Andy do the same, because if I end up in West Texas next week, it's going to be fun, boys. It's going to be fun.
Brother. Sounds good. All right. On that note, you guys be good. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see you guys. Same bat channel, same bat time next week.
All right,
Guys, have a
brother.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.